Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for, I think, the most hyped comic of the week, Uncanny Avengers issue 1, which is the start of Marvel Now, which is another big hyped event from Marvel. But is it good hype or bad hype? Is it worth the hype? I mean, the one thing is you really can't just say, oh, well, this issue is bad, Marvel Now will be bad. You really can't, because this is one series that just started off. So let's see, and you can't really say, oh, this was a brilliant issue, Marvel Now will be the best thing in the world. Can't say that either, because there might be bad series out there. It's just the one thing great about Marvel Now is if you hate one issue, doesn't really matter because you might love another issue because it's a different creative team and a different story. But this is just the start of everything because it really continues from Avengers vs. X-Men. But before I start this total review, just want to give you guys a little update. One update is that another Marvel Now title I reviewed is on Dark Avenger Inc., which is Red She-Hulk issue 58, which is technically a continuation with Hulk. But really it's just issue 1 of, Red She-Hulk. You'll see my review for that if you guys check that out. The link for Dark Avenger Inc. is in the description below. Also, I reviewed Morning Glories issue 22, so that's also on Dark Avenger Inc. I haven't reviewed Morning Glories in a little while, so you could go check that out. Also, guys, because I have New York Comic Con this week, which I'll have a lot of coverage for on my channel and Dark Avenger Inc., I was totally busy with school also. I came home late today, and most days I come home late. So I just didn't have a lot of time to read my comics. I have 3 comics I didn't get to review, which is Scarlet Spider, Wolverine and X-Men, and Uncanny X-Men. So I didn't get to review those. I mean, like with this, I even had to read my comics quicker than I would like to. But I got to read, for the big hyped up comics of the week and really most anticipated comics of the week. So those are ones I really want to get for you guys because these are, to tell you the truth, not even just hyped for the week, but really hyped for the year. So I definitely want to get that out for you guys. But my channel will have tons of things this weekend, so you'll definitely have a lot of treats for New York Comic Con. It'll be like you're there. So, but let's start the review for Uncanny Avengers, and let's talk about the cover. Cover explains most of who's on this team. It's half X-Men and half Avengers. We got Wolverine, who's an X-Men and an Avenger. Captain America, who's always ruling everything. Rogue, X-Men. Scarlet Witch, who's also an X-Men / Avenger, but more on the Avengers side during Avengers vs. X-Men. Havoc, who's a total X-Men, who's the brother of Cyclops. And then we got Thor, who's a total Avenger also. So, I think that's a cool mix. Do I love these characters? I love Wolverine. I'm a big Wolverine fan. But everyone else I'm not a big fan of. Like, I like them. But I've never been like, I have to read the series because Havoc is in it. Not really. I don't love these characters. But, with this issue, it has to persuade me. Will I get the next issue even though I'm in love with these characters, And Wolverine's in tons of other books, so why would I pick up this one? So, that's what this issue had to convince me. Let's see what it convinced me. With this issue, again, it is a very Avengers vs. X-Men continuation. And to tell you the truth, if you read Avengers vs. X-Men Consequences, if you saw my review, it's very connected with that. I would read this issue first and then Avengers vs. X-Men Consequences because it flows better that way. And I read it in reverse, and I'm like, what funeral? Oh, okay, Uncanny Avengers didn't get to read that yet, but it just ruins the flow a little. It's not like they spoil stuff, because a funeral is not really spoiling stuff, you already know about the death. But yeah, you actually might confuse stuff from different issues. It's like, I was actually reviewing Avengers vs. X-Men Consequences before this issue. I'm like, wait, did that have an Uncanny Avengers, or did that have an Avengers vs. X-Men? I don't remember. Because they're very similar, and they kind of both relate to the aftermath of Avengers vs. X-Men. And we even get Cyclops in the same stupid, hat that he's wearing in both issues. So that's another confusing thing, if I can get that for you. It looks better in this one than Avengers vs. X-Men Consequences, but he still has that stupid thing to keep him under control. With this issue, we get to see, to tell you the truth, Cyclops still being a douchebag, because he's talking to his brother, who Havoc, he's a noble guy, he's a good guy. So he's like, you kill Professor X, and, Cyclops is like, what? So, he actually had no emotion in this. And, he's like, oh, well, his ideas are stupid anyways, so, we have mutants now, so that's cool. So yeah, we get to see how evil Cyclops still is, and we're gonna have it kind of like, oh, this is my brother, and wow, look how much he's changed. And also, I would say we get a little bit of illusion or foreshadowing for all new X-Men, which I'm actually pretty excited for. Because we're getting to see the past X-Men characters, kind of see what their future selves is like. Well, what happened to me? Or, like, I think an Iceman's point of view is like, oh, cool. I'm a cool guy. I think Jean, she'll find out she's dead. Beast, I don't know what he's going to really find out. I guess he'll find out that he's really a beast now. Yeah, but that's definitely going to be an interesting series. But they do foreshadow that. Also, we get to see, again, Professor X's funeral, which I felt was actually a little bit better done in this. And I felt, wow, Professor X died. And I actually felt sad because when he died, I'm like, we haven't seen him for years, so it's not that much of a loss. But in this issue, we get to see really like what his character is about, and I think Wolverine just did a perfect eulogy. And in this issue, I think it was really great what Wolverine did, and I'm glad kind of Wolverine did it because I feel like Wolverine's changed so much because of Professor X, and I don't think he'd be the person he is right now because if it wasn't for Professor X. And I really loved that. I loved his eulogy, and that was a really great beginning of this issue. And we just seen Captain America kind of taking a stand in this issue, saying, alright, so I screwed up with Avengers vs. X-Men, and now I understand that maybe I gotta be better with X-Men. Maybe Cyclops in his twisted way was right on some points. And he's bringing Uncanny Avengers together. A team of X-Men and Avengers. And that's gonna be Havoc, Rogue, Scarlet Witch is technically Avenger, so, I mean, it definitely is less X-Men than, Avengers. Maybe they'll add more characters, because, yeah, think about it. Yes, Scarlet Witch and Wolverine are mutants, but they're also Avengers. I mean, I guess it works, because if you look at the cover, 2 X-Men, there are Avengers and X-Men. We got 2 Avengers, and then 2 mutants, 2 X-Men. So I guess it kind of balances out, but, I hope there's actually other characters introduced to this series also. We'll have to see. But that's what this issue's all about, and also got this villain coming in that I won't spoil, but I'm not totally interested in. Alright, I'll spoil it because the cover shows it anyway, so if you haven't read the issue, I'm spoiling something. So if you don't want to know who the villain is, pause this video, read Uncanny Avengers, then come back. But the villain is Red Skull, and he's taking Professor Xavier's brain to do stuff. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there. Yeah, so I'm not a big Red Skull fan because I never really read Captain America's series. I'm not a big Captain America fan. Like, I love him in Avengers, and I like his character. I just never could get into the solo series, so I'm not a big Red Skull fan. So I didn't really care that he was going to be the villain. Yeah, so I thought this issue was a good beginning for stuff, but I think it depends what characters you like. I don't know if I'll stick with this series because there's so many other Marvel Now series I want to get, but I still want to try this series for the first issue, especially since this was the first Marvel Now title that was coming out. But I don't know if I'll continue it, only because, alright, I like Wolverine, but I don't love everyone else, and there's too many titles coming out that I don't think I could keep this one. And again, the cliffhanger makes me not excited. So this was an average issue for the hype. It wasn't worth it. But again, what I was saying in the beginning, you might not like one Marvel Now series, but you might love another. So you can't really determine Marvel Now by, oh, this first issue. Well, Marvel Now officially sucks. No, you can't do that because if you don't like Uncanny Avengers, you might really like regular Avengers, or you really might like all new X-Men. And I think that's the best part about Marvel Now. I might not like this issue, and I might not pick up this series, but, I might like another series, and I just don't think Marvel Now is cursed because of the first issue, It's like I didn't like one issue, I mean, was it good to start out the series with this? I think it was because it's a continuation of Avengers vs. X-Men. We're getting into this Avengers vs. X-Men kind of consequences, and that's why it compared to Consequences so much. I think that's why you have to read the 2 this week to really get the whole story. But I like that was kind of a conclusion of it. It wasn't a bad issue. I think just for me, personally, I just don't love these characters. And not saying I hate them, far from it. These are great characters. It's just, personally for me, I don't love reading them in stories. And I never really was interested to them. The only one I really love is Wolverine, and he's in tons of other series that I could read. And again, just that conclusion is well, I'm not totally excited. And there's just too many titles to pick up. And, I knew with some issue 1s, I'm going to have to say, alright, I tried it out. I could try another Marvel Now title now. So I'm going to say, pick this issue up just because it's, just see if you like it. If you don't like it, then don't continue the series. For me, I probably won't continue this series, but I thought it was a good start for Marvel now. It's just that it depends what characters you like. If you like Havoc and you love him, you're going to like this issue. There's some great stuff with Havoc. There's some great stuff with a lot of these characters. It's just, for me, it was a good issue. It's just the team. I don't love the roster, and you have to love the roster to really like this team. But I think it's a really good idea to bring X-Men and Avengers together. It is a good story. It's not for me. It depends what situation you're in. If you like any of these characters, if you're a big Rogue fan, you're gonna love this issue, or you might at least continue the series. For me, this is a solid, well, an okay 3.5. Good art. There's some really great stuff in here, especially if you've been reading Avengers vs. X-Men. It's actually a really good kind of not lead up, but consequences of it, and again, that's why it kind of connects with Avengers vs. X-Men consequences. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and guys, I say pick it up. I give it a 3.5. Try it out, see if you enjoyed it. If you don't continue the series like I won't. But this is Comic Uno. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno on the Random Situations, and see you guys later. I say 3.5, and I say pick it up. Bye, guys.